Hello everybody. Now in previous videos I had said that there are fake churches and fake ministers. How do you know them? Sometimes it's hard to tell. Sometimes it's real easy. And amongst the hippies you can find several of these fakes. They are just not real. How do you tell? Bible clearly says, Jesus quoting Jesus here, it says, if 2 or more people will pray in my name, I shall do it. When a Christian comes up to you and says, I'll pray for you, they don't know the Bible. They just simply don't. Look at the parable of the Good Samaritan if you need a better example. 2 guys walked past this guy that had been assaulted on the road. He was lying there dying. They prayed for him and walked on. The 3rd guy comes over and he picks the guy up, takes him to the inn, and makes sure he's well. Message is, number 1, he didn't just pray for the guy. He actually picked him up, took him to the inn. Number 2, he got to know the guy because after all, he picked him up, took him to the inn. He had to know who the guy was, and that way he could tell the innkeeper who he was and what was going on. You get to know people when you're Christian. And ministers that refuse to get to know you aren't ministers. It's that fact. Because you're supposed to go by the example of Jesus. I always say, act like Jesus. Well, Jesus said that 3rd guy is the one I praise. I don't praise the other 2. We're going to act like Jesus. We're going to do it like he says. We're going to do it like the 3rd person and not the first 2. Okay. Jesus quoted the Old Testament. We're supposed to be like Jesus. We're supposed to quote the Old Testament. If we're supposed to quote the Old Testament, we're supposed to know the Old Testament. Whoops. We're supposed to know and quote the Old Testament? Yep. Check it out. Jesus himself quoted the Old Testament. Matthew chapter 4, verse 4 is a direct quote from Deuteronomy 8:3. Matthew 4:7 is a direct quote from Deuteronomy 6:16. Jesus himself said, I did not come here to abolish the law. I came here to fulfill the law's demands. That means he was paying the price for the sin. Jesus is out in the wilderness. Satan starts quoting Scripture. Jesus quotes Old Testament Scripture back to him. We're supposed to be like Jesus. That's the way Jesus was. Jesus knew the Old Testament. Why don't we? If a reverend refuses to teach the Old Testament, walk away. And how about this? Jesus asked God specifically not to drink the cup of sin. But you'll hear ministers say, hey, Jesus was delighted to get on that cross for us. He was delighted, Jesus was delighted to take away our sin. But he was not delighted in knowing that he was going to get on a crucifix. Okay, he was going to go through a crucifixion. He was not delighted about that. He was not delighted about the fact that he knew he was going to die. He didn't go jumping up and saying, oh, look at me, I'm going to go through a crucifixion, I'm going to die. That was not his attitude. He said, I'm willing to do it. There's a good purpose in doing it, and I accept that. But if there's any other way, take this cup from me. That is a direct quote from the Bible. But ministers don't teach that anymore. That's wrong. They skip over that. Sometimes we have to do what we don't want to do. They don't teach it. If a minister refuses to teach that, walk away from him. He doesn't know a thing about Christianity, none whatsoever. Alright. So, we now have some ways to tell whether somebody's really Christian or not. Another one. You'll have a full-blown minister, not just some little Christian that's in their house and they're doing the little things. We're talking about full-blown minister, and he reads the astrological signs in the newspaper. Follows it religiously. If he's following the astrological signs and following it religiously, he has no clue about Christianity, none whatsoever. Jesus had none of this. God said, I named the stars. And here human beings are trying to name the stars. Whoops. Human beings are trying to name the very stars that God said I named. Now, we don't know what God named those stars. And if anybody has information otherwise, they're more than welcome to leave a comment down here. But God named them. And when we're trying to rename what God named, that's not biblical. Simple as that. So, that's just the kind of things that are in this Bible that people are not telling you. They don't want you to know stuff like that. It could change the very aspect of how you believe. And here's another one that they don't teach you. There is no Bible scripture that says that if you don't pray over every single one of your meals right then and there, that God's going to send you into a fiery hell immediately. That scripture doesn't exist. So, when you're on a lunch break from work and you have just that much time to eat, my suggestion would be either while you're stocking shelves or facing shelves or doing whatever it is that you're doing, and you don't really have to concentrate on much of anything else, just think a quick prayer. That's when to do it. Then when you clock out, all you have to do is worry about getting to your destination safely and getting something to eat. Or if you eat in the lunchroom, well, you've already prayed about your meal anyway, so you just enjoy your lunch. Because God doesn't want you to have a ton of digestive problems, and He doesn't want you starving on the job because He wants you to pray over your meal. He doesn't say on a certain set time, that's when you pray. God's not like that. God doesn't have set times. Ministers have set times, but God doesn't. God's a 24-hour system. Period. So, another thing you could do is, at the end of the day, when you climb into your car and you're starting to head home, as soon as you pull up in the driveway, pray to God. Say, thank you for lunch. Sorry I couldn't get to you sooner, but thank you for lunch. Or, when you get yourself ready for work, you're shaving, whatever, say, God, I know I'm not going to have time at the lunchroom to pray to you. So I'm going to pray to you now. Thank you for the meal I'm going to have at lunch. He accepts that perfectly. Find a time that is more convenient for you and thank Him then. Okay? And that's really important because when you're taking care of kids, let me tell you something, those kids are like 24 hours a day. You have to find time. If you send the kids outside to play, then you pray. Make it brief if you have to. God accepts a brief prayer. He's not terribly picky about the way you pray. Okay? So, those are some of the things they don't teach you. I wish they did. Alright. I think I've pretty much said enough in this video. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down here in the comments below. I will tell you more in a future video, so stay tuned.